Okay. Can you just tell me a little bit about the song Computer... no, sorry. TV... Can you tell me a little bit about the song TV Crimes?
Geezer will.
Now let me see. TV Crimes. That was probably... We had that... That was one of the second tracks that we'd written, but we'd sort of only half written it and just left it until pre-production. And it had a different title at the time. And then that was the very last song that we actually recorded in the studio and finished in the studio. And Ronnie came up with those lyrics on the last day of in the studio. I think it was like the old, the lyrics are about the old television evangelists and hypocrites in general. And that's it, really.
Yeah. Maybe you can introduce the song. You can look into the camera and go, I'm Geezer and I'm not, or whatever. And this is our new video, something like that. Right. And look into the camera. Yeah, yeah. Action.
Hello, I'm Geezer Butler.
And I'm Tony Iommi.
This is TV Crimes.
Our new video.
I was speaking just before you said, so let's do another one. And you can say a little bit more. I mean, hi, I'm here in Stockholm and we're having fun and you're watching Helt OK is the magazine. The show is called Helt OK.
Helt?
Helt OK, yeah. So try to do that. One more time.
Hello, this is Geezer Butler and you're watching Helt OK.
And I'm Tony Iommi, sitting here with a sore bottom. And you're watching, what are they?
TV Crimes.
We'll do that again.
Oh, dear. You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, this is Geezer Butler and on Helt OK.
And I'm Tony Iommi, here in Stockholm with a sore bum.
You're about to see our new video, TV Crimes.
That's a good one. Great. Okay, let's carry on with the rat questions here. So, so now, all of a sudden, I'm this little, very cocky little rat.
Yeah.
But I met you guys, and the first thing I'm this is a cocky guy, so I may say things that is meant to offend you a little bit, but it's all in fun, so whatever. Yeah. We can shoot this as well, because sometimes it may come out some extremely funny thing.
Oh, all right.
So if we use it, we'll use it, you know. That's why we just film it. Anyway. So guys, I mean, you've been carrying on for ever now in the same band. Isn't that boring? I mean, to be in the same band for such a long time, really?
Yeah.
I mean, especially you. You've been there. You left for a while and went off and chopped woods or whatever you did. But you've really been doing the same thing since the 60s. How did the whole thing start out? I mean, how did you
first meet?
Yeah.
God. Well, we all lived not very far from each other in Birmingham, and Ozzy used to be at the same school as me, and then there was Geezer who lived just up the road, and he used to be in a band with Ozzy called the Rare Breed, and I used to be in a band with Bill. And it happened that at one point they were looking for a guitar, for a drummer, and Bill and me were looking for a guitar player, for a singer and a bass player. And Ozzy and Geese came round to see if I knew a drummer, and which was, you know, Bill was there, and so it turned out that somehow or other we decided to all get together. I can't exactly remember the full details of it.
Did you play similar types of music? Did these two bands play similar types of music?
Yeah, we were the only two bands in Birmingham at the time that were doing stuff like Cream and Hendrix sort of style, influence sort of stuff. Everybody else was doing soul music at the time.
Yeah. But Black Sabbath, to everyone, has become the inventors of dark and gloomy and really slow.
Yeah. But when we started that lineup, we had a sax player and a slide player as well, and we we had a little meeting between the four of us and decided that we didn't really want a sax player and slide player after a month or something.
Was that in Earth?
In Earth, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we had to sort of decide to break up and then reform again a week later without the slide player and sax player.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
Yeah, that's
we didn't have the
sneaky.
heart to tell them.
But then you formed Black Sabbath. Where did that name come
Oh, we
from?
were
Are you
called-
devil worshippers?
Not now.
No, we're ex-deadly.
But you used to raid graves and do.
Only to find the
sacrilege.
wedding rings and stuff.
Yeah.
Used to rob
Yeah,
graves
used to rob a lot of bodies when they were
and eat the corpses.
But where did this thing come from? I mean, you were the ones to start incorporating the darker side of life and devil things and whatever into to hard rock music.
We just got fed up of listening to everybody singing about how they love their babies and everything, and we came from a very, very rough part of Birmingham.
So you were
And,
hooligans as well?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you had to be to survive in those days. And the music was aggressive, so the lyrics were aggressive. We saw a lot of horrible things when we were growing up, so it just came out in the music.
Yeah. What did you work with? Did you have any jobs before you started to become
barely.
musicians?
We were basically in and out of work, and then I think Geezer was,
I was at college training to be an accountant, believe it or not.
which he absolutely hated.
Yeah,
So now you're taking care of the band's business.
yeah. That's why I'm
Leave all
richer.
the receipts to. But you, what about school for you? Were you good in school?
At school, no, I was absolutely useless.
Good at beating Ozzy up.
Yeah, that's funny at school because I never got on with Ozzy at all at school. We used to beat him up.
So he
And,
was the poor kid that everybody was picking on, or?
He was the one I picked on, yeah, at the time. And I wouldn't have thought years later I'd be playing in a band with him. But yeah, we got on, I mean, great afterwards. But at school, you know, as you do at school. I remember when Bill and myself were looking for a singer before we actually got together. We went round to, we saw an advertisement in a music shop in town that says, Ozzy Zig requires gig. And I said to Bill, I know an Ozzy, it can't be the same Ozzy because he didn't sing, you know. Because as far as I know, he didn't. So sure enough, we went round to this address that we had. And I think it was his mum who opened the door, and then who should come to the door was Ozzy, and I said to Bill, oh, forget it, I know this guy. Just forget it. And, you know, because of the school days, like, and all the things that happened there. And so anyway, we went away after that, and it wasn't that long after that we actually all did get together, and I realised, bloody hell, he can sing. I didn't know he could sing when I was at school.
Wasn't he pissed? I mean, this is the guy that used to pick on me.
He probably was. He probably still is.
There you go. But what about grades in school? I mean, were you good at performing in school?
No, the only thing I ever done any good at school was chemistry. Well, I wasn't interested in school life. The only thing I wanted to do was get out.
So those things must have come in handy then during the heydays of the 70s when everybody was doing drugs and things like that.
Not making my own drugs. I didn't know how to do that.
Otherwise, I mean, the late 60s, you know, was little spoons and things on the record covers, not on your covers, but on many covers at that time. I mean, there was some chemistry lessons on many of them, Blue Shear, I remember, things like that.
Yeah. Oh, we've had our day.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, when you formed, did you do it just to get the girls, or?
We tried.
No, we already had millions of them.
We used to try.
No, I just wanted to get out and... Well, with me, anyhow, when I saw the Beatles when I was a little kid, that's what I wanted to do for a living. It was just like...
to walk around in a nerdy haircut?
Yeah, and a Beatle jacket. That's what I already looked like her anyhow. And I had my Beatle boots and my Beatle suits and everything. So naturally, the next thing was a Beatle Rickenbacker. And that's what made me want to play guitar. And then when we got together, it was just like an extension of that, really. That was what we wanted to do for our lives, because our parents, we came from like relatively poor families, and we didn't want to go get stuck in factory jobs or offices for the rest of our lives.
Was that the only option, living in Birmingham, really?
No, it wasn't the only option. I mean, I was going to college, so, you know, it depends how well you did at work, at school, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the options were there if you want to work for it, but I just didn't. I could never get up at 9 o'clock every day, and the only profession that I could think of where you didn't have to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning was a musician. So.
Yeah. But dreaming about becoming a musician doesn't necessarily mean that the dream will come true. I mean, so many.
It's always that's how it starts off. It's a dream, and then it turned into reality.
Yeah. But what you created with this dream was something unique, something that no one had done before. You were
that was part of it.
spearheading what we still hear today. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think when we formed, we knew we were more committed than any other band that we'd ever been in, or it seemed like everybody else was just playing at it, and everybody else was playing other people's music, and so we were so committed to being in it, making that our lives. We wanted our own music to show how much we were committed to it.
Has it, in retrospect, been something of a almost ungraspable thing to know that we have been there since the dawn of hard rock, and we're still here, and we're still leading the pack in a way?
It's definitely strange now, after all like the negative things from the press and everything, the slaggings and how bad we were. Like when we first started off, everybody used to say, you know, we'd last one album and nobody'd ever hear of us again. And now, like, we're meeting so many bands that say that we influence them. It's great.
That was the thing. We went out on a limb at first. When we first created this sort of music, it was everybody was, you know, didn't want to. Oh, what's that stuff? You know, you can't. Oh, this weird sort of music you're playing, and we didn't sort of. The easiest way for us to have been able to get gigs would have been to play what everybody else is playing, which was all the commercial stuff and, like, you know, stuff that would get us into any club in England or whatever. But we went out on a limb and done something that we created that we really did like, and it was then up to the people to maybe like it with us, you know.
How long time did you spend recording Dehumanizer?
Dehumanizer?
Yeah. How long time did you spend in the studio for that?
6 weeks.
Yeah. How long time did you spend on the first record?
2 days.
But still, that's a classic. So
it was a day, wasn't it? The first album.
2 days, including the mix.
Yeah.
And that album still stands out as a classic today. And still, you go in and spend 6 weeks and a lot of money. Can't you do it in 2 days these days?
No.
I think it's a different.
Times have changed. You have to sound modern as well as, you know. You can do it in 2 days, but it sounds like a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality of recording nowadays, even when you say, you know, some of the bands now have done it, it's a rougher sound. It's still, the quality is still so far superior than it was like 20 years ago.
The engineers now, you know, the engineers couldn't do an album in a day. It's just impossible. They don't work like that anymore.
So really, the evolution of rock or recording has actually gone backwards. It takes longer time to do it now than it used to.
Plus, in those days, I mean, there was no such thing as like big record advances. You got the record company, if they signed you up, they'd give you £500, and that was it. You know, there was no $1 million deals or anything. It was just like they give you enough money for 2 days in the studio, and you had to go in and make an album.
So when did the big bucks start rolling in for you?
Probably after the second album, Paranoid.
So how did it feel when these guys from Birmingham who dreamt about making a living in music finally got a big paycheck?
Well, I think we went through various stages. We gradually, because we were gigging and going through, you know, the phase that you do, and we all had our thing of going out buying cars and buying houses and all the rest of the stuff. But you know, it was a phase that we went through, and it was good. Yeah, it's good. It enabled us to be able to get what we wanted, I suppose. But we still were, you know, it was just like funny money, really. You know, you could just, oh, well, I'll get money. Yes, it's just...
It was there.
You didn't sort of appreciate it like you would today, if you know what I mean.
You never thought of this can end tomorrow and I better save some.
No, we just...
We
never had money anyway, so it didn't mean
so we didn't know how to treat it, so it's like... Oh, I like that Rolls Royce, I'll have 3 of those.
I mean, that's literally how it was.
It's fun, isn't it? But returning again to girls here, because girls and rock and roll belong together. Do you remember your first kiss, guys?
Yeah, when I kissed myself in the bathroom mirror.
More of a opposite sex type of thing?
Me mum. First kiss.
It's going back a way, you know.
Most people
Probably the girl next door when I was about 3.
Right? But when it became more like a romantically involved type of thing, you're a girl that you had a crush on. The more technical
developed
side of it.
early.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that first butterflies in your stomach type of thing?
Yeah, the girl next door when I was 3.
Yeah. All right. And what about you, Tony?
I actually can't remember a first kiss as such. Now I just don't remember who that would be.
All right. The first bonk then.
I probably can't remember. I was probably too pissed to remember that one. Anyway.
This is something no one ever forgets. Let's hear it, guys. I even got it from Alice Cooper.
Is that right? Yeah, I can. It was a girl. I used to go with in one of the groups that when I used to play in bars and pubs and whatnot in the early days. And this other guitar player that was in the band at the time, it was his sister.
So you didn't tell him? You were...
Well, I was going out with her for a couple of years. So,
How old were you then?
About 18 or something, 17.
Yeah. Was it a nervous experience? I mean, the first time, hey,
I didn't know what to do, basically.
No,
but I learned.
Back then, the sex education in school wasn't that good, was it?
Didn't have any in our school.
Right.
We weren't allowed in our school.
So what did you do? I mean, did
Catholic,
you just go, oh, I guess this feels good?
It was trial and error, yeah. We had to, I actually, what it was, I used to go and look after this. There was these two old people who, we used to go around and look after the house, you see, while they could go out once a week. And so I arranged it one night to go around and look after the house with this girl.
Yeah.
And that's how it all happened. We practiced then.
Yeah? Was it good? I mean, was it, did you feel, oh yeah, I'm a man now, or?
I can't actually remember what I felt.
Or was it like a fiasco?
No, I think at the first time, I thought, well, this feels weird, because I think I'd done it right at first. I think we had to get into the swing of it.
On the tree.
And Geezer, you must have a vivid memory of this.
Yeah, the girl next door when I was 6.
You were
They used to play
I don't believe
They
you.
used to play doctors and nurses.
Yeah? Was it? I mean,
I mean, I went through the motions. Whether anything came out, I don't know. I can't remember.
but the first real thing that you really remember.
Probably this girl at school when I was about 14 or something.
Yeah.
In the bike shed.
Details, man, details.
Ah, bikes.
Was it good?
Behind the church. Right?
Behind the church?
Yeah.
You started. You did it. Now we know everything about the graves.
Yeah. In fact, I think it was on one of the graves.
You did it on the grave.
In those days, you did. I mean, that was the place to go.
You couldn't do it at home, could you? So you had to find somewhere that nobody else was around, and graveyard's a very good place.
Did that spook her? I mean, she must have been terrified.
You don't know the girls I knew.
Around this time, I guess you got drunk the first time, because that usually happens in your adolescence. This is also something that some people have enormously funny stories around.
I don't think I was at first. I don't think I was drinking. In fact, I didn't start drinking until later on in life, until I met Geezer.
So he's the bad influence here.
No, we didn't. We started, I think, smoking and drinking everything when we were probably.
I didn't drink till I was about 22 or something.
No, it was quite late, later in life.
In England, I mean, everybody goes
I
around
used
the
to
pub.
have like a pint.
Yeah?
I couldn't afford it. We didn't have any money whatsoever, and I used to have like half a pint or something.
So how did you let your frustrations out when you were 15, 16?
Write music or go and smash somebody's head in. Mainly through the music. That's where it all came out.
I think that's what sort of started all off with the music, was the frustration we had inside us, because, as Geezer said, the town we come from was very rough, and where we lived wasn't exactly a pleasant area. So it was always fights and gang fights and knives and all the rest of the stuff. So you had to become one of them or die, you know. And when we come into music, it was a way of getting out frustrations and another way to channel it, you know.
Mm.
The violence. Instead of hanging around the street corners, we could go into a social club or whatever it was and play, you know, and rehearse. And
Did you ever commit a crime when you were young?
probably.
Not anything bad.
Statute of limitations are up, so... Did you steal anything? Did you go shoplifting?
Yeah, I think probably everybody's done that. I did when I was at school. I know that. I remember going into a joke shop and stealing some jokes.
Oh, that's where it all came from, was it?
And you, Geezer, did you?
No, I used to be a severely strict Catholic, so I mean, with me it was just like
Catholic and
Beating
humping on the grave. Good.
yeah, and fighting. Used to do a lot of that, but no thieving. No.
Were you the guy who used to win, or the guy who used to be beaten up?
Both. Sometimes I used to win. Sometimes I used to get absolutely murdered. 'Cause, you know, it was like we used to go around in an Irish Catholic gang, and the Irish in Birmingham sort of look down on it if you're an Irish in England. So you have to fight your way out.
Were you was it a close call sometimes that you really got in trouble?
Not that bad, no. Just
the occasional bruise.
yeah. I never ended up in hospital or anything like that.
Right. Once you started to become stars, I mean, did that affect your egos? Did you go around and think you owned the world for a while?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think
we
that-
never changed as far as that's concerned.
Didn't happen to any of us in the original band.
No.
So you were down to earth and
Yeah, we
local
enjoyed.
lads.
In fact, you know, I mean, quite often or not, you'd help people out. You know, you give them something. We'd stuck for something. You'd give them something. You know, money or whatever. Because we'd never had money, we didn't know how to handle it anyway. So how it came was when we had money, we could get the things that we'd always seen. Oh, you know, we've seen other people with. Think, oh, I'd like that, and I can afford to buy that now. But it wasn't as though, oh, I've got money and I'm going to hold on. You never thought of that, you know.
With me, it was like once you'd bought it, it's like, oh, is that it? You know, what's the pleasure in it? There was no. The pleasure was just having the money to buy it, and then once I had it, it's
Money to burn, really.
yeah. What's the point in having it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with him.
And so I used to still go down to Aston in Birmingham, where I grew up, to go down the local pub with all my mates, and you couldn't have an ego because they'd soon put you down if you tried to have an ego, and so you still had to be like one of the lads to be accepted.
Yeah.
Back.
At which point would you say that the craziness in rock and roll, because you were there in the 70s, the 70s being the crazy rock and roll era when everybody was high on drugs and groupies everywhere and private airplanes and limousines and you know the Hollywood type of rock and roll image. What time was your time for that? Would you say that you really felt like, hey,
well, we did all that.
we're big stars?
We had the
big stars.
We had all the private jets and all that sort of rubbish, you know, in the mid 70s.
How was it? How did you?
We didn't. It was part of what we'd done. You know, we didn't sort of. I don't think we just. It just became sort of second nature. Really. You didn't sort of think, well, I suppose we did. Oh,
we
got
thought
a jet.
that's the way it was supposed to be done then, because I mean most of the bands were doing it then, the big bands.
But it must have been comfortable with luxury hotels and all that.
Yeah, but because we were already sold like 3 million albums before we got to America, we thought, well, that's the way you're supposed to do it anyhow, because, I mean, Zeppelin had this massive big 707 or whatever they were going around, and we had a Learjet.
So we were wimpy in comparison. And also, you know, we'd go into these hotels and we get slung out because they weren't ready for us, you know, much like what's happening today, you know. We'd just be aggravation for them when we got in the hotel. That, you know, we stay in these real flash hotels, which is unknowings to us because we were booked in them. And, you know, we'd be stool slobs, you know, pissing up the corner and stuff like that, you know. And basically that's...
And down the sink.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened, you know. The first time we ever seen a bidet, we thought it was to wash your feet in, you know.
So how many hotel rooms have you wrecked?
Oh, it's at its day. We've had a few.
Well, especially Bill and Ozzy certainly went through a few.
Oh, Bill and Ozzy did, yeah.
Is that a part of it all? Do you have to do that?
No, it's just because when we do that anyway. If we weren't, because we were just yobs basically.
And you know, you see all these nice rooms that you never had as a kid, and you just resent it and you just want to smash it to bits. When you were in that particular mood,
but
you know, when you got fed up of touring and stuff.
Then the thing that money got you was a nice home for yourself. That pretty much
smashed them up.
Yeah, and he's not joking there either. He's certainly not joking. It's like if you smashed a hotel up. I mean, you'd have to pay for it. You wouldn't get away free. So you know. And Geez, as Geez said, I mean, we remember going over to Bill's house one night, and Bill had this big, he had like a big house and a strawberry farm. He had like a 10-acre strawberry farm, a raspberry farm, wasn't it? Anyway, we got to Bill's house, and we seen there's got no front door on the house, and then windows are getting smashed left, right, and centre, and it was Bill freaking out in the house, and we got in there, and he got all this French furniture and all this stuff, you know, Louis stuff he got, and all the bloody windows are smashed and doors smashed. I mean, he just freaked, same as he'd done in a hotel, you know, it was the same thing, and he'd done it to his own house.
Because he hadn't been on tour for a while, he said.
Something happened to your finger. I mean, it's a notorious little plastic thing you have there. What happened?
I caught my fingers in a guillotine, like a press type guillotine, and as I was bending some metal, as it come down, your reaction to pull your hand back, and I pulled the two ends off.
Was that when did this happen?
That was funny enough on the day I was leaving a job to go to Germany with a group to so-called turn professional. So that sort of stopped that.
So throughout the Sabbath career,
this was before Sabbath,
yeah.
Well before.
Do you think that forced you to create a special technique for guitar playing?
I had to develop a different way of playing, different style, because I couldn't. There were certain things I couldn't, certain chord shapes I wouldn't be able to play, you know, with these things on.
Mm-hmm. There you go. What type of cheeses do you like, guys?
Cheese.
Yeah.
I like Sire cheese, made
Yeah,
from
these are
Sire
vegetarian.
beans.
So I like most cheeses, cheddar cheese and gorgonzola and most stuff.
Are you afraid of cats?
I hate cats.
You hate? So do I, being a rat.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Geezer?
I used to be a cat.
You used to be a cat.
Yeah,
Well,
in your last life.
I mean, Geezer. No mum with the right mind would ever Christian her son Geezer. So how did this name come about?
My mum was mental.
It's how did you get this nickname?
Well, when I was at school, I used to call everybody a geezer for some reason. It just stuck on me then, because I was the one that called everybody else it. So just got lumbered with it,
Yeah,
and it carried on from there.
exactly. We're gonna do some reverse pictures on me while you're sitting there.
Okay.
Så vi får några, man ser